Hello car lovers. Today a little bit of a different video. It's a drive along video. So the title of this video is why you should buy a car in the time of coronavirus, and this is for Canadians only. Why is that? So just a few contextual facts about the situation here. Well, of course, there's a coronavirus. Governments are borrowing all kinds of money, including the government of Canada, which is borrowing $250 billion, which is unheard of. Already, Canada was, if I could say, government poor and economically not that well off in terms of the general economy. So those two things were like relatively low. And now we are going to become very government poor. And that has an impact on the Canadian dollar. And especially the Canadian dollar versus the US dollar. What does that mean for buying cars? Well, if you take a look at the screen right now, I'm showing you the cost of an all-equipped Acura TLX V6 super handling all-wheel drive in Canada, and I'm showing you the price in the United States. And the prices do not reflect the difference in value of our dollar. I mean, we're trading almost like 71 cents on the dollar, on the US dollar. So in economics, there's a phenomenon called sticky prices. That is to say, when circumstances change for a producer of goods and services, they will not normally change the prices for every change there is in their cost of doing business. And the dollar is part of the cost of doing business, the exchange, I should rather say. So these things tend to not catch up. Where it does catch up, if you want to see the effect of it, is, for example, in Apple products. Apple came out with an iPhone SE for $399 in the US. In Canada, they're selling it for $599. I think you should buy a new car as soon as you can, like in the next few months, all right? Because the dealers will come off the shutdown and they're going to be a little bit hungry for money, and the prices are still the old prices. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips for buying a car in general. So these are buying tips for people who are not passionate about cars. Number one, if you're financing, never finance for more than 60 months, all right? That's the pro tip. Why? Well, because number one, the warranties usually finish after 5 years, all right? So if you finance the car over 7 years, if after 5.5 years you have catastrophic failure, that is to say engine or transmission, that can cost you like a few $1,000s. It can set you back a lot. Now, you may decide to junk it. I don't think so. You're probably going to repair it, all right? And it's probably going to hurt your emergency fund if you practice sound personal finance, or if you don't, you're going to have to put on your credit card and you will end up with a monthly payment. So now you're going to be paying the monthly payment of your car plus the monthly payment of that big repair. Now, it is possible that that may not happen. Not all transmissions give out at 5.5 years. Not all engines give out at 5.5 years. But what do you know? Like, can you really predict this? Rule number two, never, ever, ever fall for the 0% trap. There is no such thing as 0% financing. Kia is not more generous than another brand because they're offering 0% financing. Some people say there's 0% financing. I can take it over 7 years. What's the difference? I'm not paying more interest. Well, you fall into the same trap. Now, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this Hyundai product, all right? It is at $716.16 and financed over 60 months. You have a 0% interest rate, but if you do 60 multiplied by the payment, you come out to $42,969. However, if you look on the left-hand side, there is the amount that you pay if you pay for it cash. It's $40,670. Now you're saying, well, wait a minute, I thought it was 0% finance. It is not 0% finance. They take a price that you would pay in interest and they add it to the price of the car. And then you pay 0% finance on that. So never, ever fall for that, okay? Always do the math. What's important is how much you pay per month multiplied by the number of payments. That's how much your car costs, all right? I'm gonna repeat it again. That is how much your car costs. That is high school math. You're supposed to know this. Now, the other thing that people do, which is very popular, is leasing a vehicle. And this is a leased vehicle. So I know a thing or two about vehicle leases. When you're leasing, you're looking at your monthly payment. That's really the main thing you're looking at, All right? So by looking at the monthly payment, it becomes a much simpler shopping experience in a sense. Now, leasing is fine and everything. However, what I think you should look at, consider the possibility of going on Lease Busters. Why would you go on Lease Busters? You're shopping for a new car. Because there are people who either have bad luck in their lives, or a change of situation, or they lose a job, or there's all kinds of reasons. They get into 48-month leases, and after 13 months, they have to get out of it. So what does that mean if you get that car? Often you'll get that car with very low mileage. 1 year of the lease will already be paid off. You will not have had to pay the deposit. You may also get winter tires for free. And also the person will pay the transfer fees. The person will often give a substantial amount of cash, and this is where you can really bargain. I did this for the first time in 2013. I got an Acura TL, and I bargained the guy. He eventually gave me $2,500 plus winter tires. Yeah, that's what it was, for an Acura TL with a very low lease price. So the car was 13 months old. It had 13,000 kilometers. I got free winter tires. I got his deposit, because his deposit I get it at the end of the lease. And I got a nice $2,500 check. All right? That's amazing. Well, it didn't start out at that amount. All right? There were no winter tires included in that amount when the ad was on Lease Busters. What I did was I sent him a low bid. He countered, I countered, and well, we made the deal. You don't know how people have to sell, right? Sometimes people have to get rid of it. All right? So that's a way to save anywhere from, I guess, maybe $5,000 to $10,000 on a 13, 14, 15-month-old car. And especially when you get into the midsize and up there, it's really a good buying strategy. And you can save a lot of money. And you get an almost new car. And there's another thing that's cool too, is that at 14, 15,000 kilometers, the car has not yet been subjected to the bad habits of the previous owner. Let's say you take the car with 14 months, right? The only thing that had to be done is perhaps one oil change. You ask the guy for the receipt. If he has the receipt for the oil change, you take the car. There's nothing else. Well, of course, you have to go get it checked, but I mean, you don't have to worry about the maintenance that the person did on the car. They don't have to do any maintenance. It's just an oil change, all right? And it's a much more reassuring buying experience than buying something that's 3-4 years old from somebody, because then you don't know what the maintenance they did, right? Third rule when buying cars, all right? Be realistic about your means. If you are not passionate about cars, which was in the preface of this video, you should not be dying to get a certain car. Anything you do above your budget is greed. I'll give you an example. I know people who make X amount of money. They should be paying for vehicles, for example, $400 or let's say $500 a month. But they just had a child and they reach out for the SUV, and it ends up costing them $600 per month. They're busting their budget. Now it's only $100 per month, or sometimes it might only be $50 a month. But it's always that multiplied by the number of payments. So if you have 60 months, you're paying an extra $100. That's $6,000. That is a lot of money. You're not respecting your budget. So avoid this purchase creep. When you get to the dealer, and they have a business, they're running a business, their goal is to make you spend as much money as possible, all right? It's obvious that that's their business. They're selling these things. So what you have to do is when you go in there, perhaps temper what you feel you deserve. I know a lot of you went to school for a long time. I know a lot of you have been working very hard. Perhaps you have a lot of responsibilities. You have a lot of stress. You get to the dealer, you say, wait a minute, I deserve this small SUV. Never mind the compact car, I deserve it. Well, if your finances indicate to you that you don't have the means to spend for that, or it would make your situation financially tighter than you'd like, then you do not deserve it. What makes you deserve a car is not how hard you work, is your capacity to pay. That's what makes you deserve a car, all right? I deserve a BMW 5 Series. However, my capacity to pay and live comfortably is an Acura TLX. It was not always so. In the past, my desire was to have a Honda Civic Si. However, my capacity to pay was a Ford Focus. All right? This is what I'm talking about by living within your means. It is not because you have a child or two that you need a small crossover. You don't need that. A compact car today has plenty of room for 2 parents and 2 children, and it's going to cost you less on gas, it's going to cost you less on payments, and it might even cost you less on insurance. So this adds up, and of course it's going to cost you less in terms of depreciation. So because you're depreciating from a smaller amount, and those compact cars tend to sell better as they age because everybody's looking for them. Next tip, when you buy a new car, after you're done buying, you will be sent to finance and insurance, or what's classically called F&I. All right? You must not buy anything at the F&I. All right? The most lucrative companies in the world are insurance companies. All right? And they're selling you insurance. This final tip is the most important one. All right? When you're buying a car, and of course, with the same caveat, I'm going to repeat it for those who are dispassionate about cars, is you must always be ready to leave the dealer. All right? I am very passionate about cars. So I never got deals for like the first 15 years of my life because I went to the dealer, I just want the car, right? However, as I got older and I'm becoming perhaps less passionate about cars, this happens as you get older, I've been willing to leave the dealer. And I have gotten great deals. All right? That's all I'm saying. If you shop, they're not going to let you leave the dealer. Especially if they see that you're serious about buying and you're not being an idiot. Like, I don't go to dealers and waste their time. I know a lot of people that do that. They just go to dealers and waste their time just to see, just in case. No, when I go shop for a car, it's 2 cars max that I'm looking at, and that's the ones I go try, and I'm going to buy. If I like it, I'm going to buy. So I think for all these reasons, I know in Quebec, I think that the shutdown for the dealerships is lifting pretty soon. I mean, I would go out, wait a few weeks, wait for the specials to come out, and I would go out shopping for a car. And I think given the circumstance that I described, I think it's a great time to buy a car. By the way, if you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. If you really like it, you should subscribe to the channel. I'm a car reviewer. There's also some interesting detailing videos that I do. You can go look in the playlists. And that is it.